So if the thought of applying these to something like this using a foam brush makes you want to find something else to do, then you might want to consider getting a sprayer. Stay tuned to see just how fast and easy a turbine-driven HVLP can spray an amazing finish. One of the things I really like about the Fuji Semi-Pro 2 is it's really easy to set up and get right to spraying. Screw the fluid nozzle in, add the needle. I always add a drop of oil to the middle of the needle. Just keep it away from the business end. You don't want it in whatever you're spraying. Add the spring and the fluid control knob. I'm going with the 1.5mm cap set, but the 1.3 would be just fine. I'll be spraying a combination of this General Finishes 450, this dye stain, and a little bit of Trans-Tint dye. I have some left over from the last outdoor table I sprayed. So it's a 1/4 cup of the General Finishes 450. It's a tablespoon of this dye stain. And then a couple of drops of this Trans-Tint dye to just darken it up just a little bit. So you don't want to overfill this. I've done that before and that was a mistake. You don't need to over tighten the adapter, just snug it up with the tool. And at some point I'm going to cut this hose. I just can't uncut it, so I can't bring myself to cut it. That's why it's still long. This just needs to be hand tight. So I'm just going to mark these when I take them apart so that I can get them back together the same way. Don't forget your respirator. I always do a test spray on some cardboard. I go back and forth between the fluid control knob and the pattern control knob to dial in the spray pattern. Whoops, forgot to change the camera angle. After spraying a coat, I'll just take a little piece of wet paper towel and I'll dab the end of the spray tip and then rubber band it in place to keep anything from drying out. The 1.5mm cap set does a great job laying down a really nice coat of the stained poly mixture. The pattern control knob on the Semi-Pro 2 allows you to adjust the fan pattern to a narrow spray, which allows you to get into tight areas. To clean the gun out at the end of the day, I start by saving off whatever I haven't sprayed. And then I put a fresh liner and filter in and fill it with water. I'll spray this through the gun 2 or 3 times with the fluid control nozzle all the way open, and I vary the pattern control nozzle between wide and narrow. I then finish by breaking down the gun all the way and rinsing the parts one last time before putting them on a towel to dry. So I'm just going to do a quick scuff sand before I put the next coat on, and I'm using one of these 3M sanding pads. These things work really well. So a couple quick notes to wrap things up. I use these little triangles to elevate the leg parts off of the turntable, and they worked well. However, as additional coats of stain and poly got on the little triangles and the wax paper on these triangles, it would have a tendency to stick to the leg as I rotated it. The easy fix for this, if you want to use something similar, is to just put a fresh strip of wax paper down between coats. That's the easiest thing to do, and it solves the problem. The last 2 spraying projects I've done, I've used these box fans with cheap 20 by 20 by 1 inch filters attached to the back. When I spray, I have them facing in the opposite direction of the spray, so it draws the air into the filter, and when I'm done spraying, I turn them around so I'm pushing clean air out over what I'm spraying to help it dry faster. So you can see how much crap this thing collected from the air, and this is over 2 spraying projects. So the table ended up getting a little bit darker than I wanted it to, and that was primarily because I was trying to get the poly and the stain in between the slats, and I ended up putting on a couple of really heavy coats, and I think they were probably too heavy. I should have gone lighter. I do like the rich dark color you get when you spray toning coats. It gives you a lot of depth in the color, and the finish looks really nice. General finish is 450, feels really soft and smooth, so I'm really happy with the finish. It's just I think it could have been probably a little bit on the lighter side. Well, that's it. I hope you found something useful in this video, and I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. Maybe like this video, maybe share it with somebody. Anybody, really. Good luck on all your future projects, and I'll see you in the next video.